seen Ebenezer Scrooge, right? Well, this one wears a suit, and he's the CEO of McDonald's.
And it was a landslide victory. We won like 12-1, nearly double the minimum wage here in Kansas City.
We kept pushing. We showed up at the Capitol. We would go to Springfield however many times it took.
When it was go time, right? It was go time.
Hello, and thank you for joining episode 2 of Worker Power, a podcast exploring our nationwide movement of workers organizing for economic and racial justice. For more time with our families, for more moments of joy, for the dignity and respect we deserve. We're fighting for living wages and a union. This is a podcast about us. We are fighters. I'm Adriana Alvarez.
And I'm Terrence Wise. Today we have the honor to hear from two of the movement's incredible leaders, Ieisha Franceis and Bill Thompson. They'll share with you what life is like in the fast food industry and bring us firsthand accounts from the fight to gain a livable wage and a seat at the table.
My typical day will start with me about getting up 3:30 in the morning and be able to leave the house by 4:30. My cat waits for me to get up right there at the foot of my bed waiting to follow me to the bathroom. So I put in my teeth and wash my face and everything and get ready for the morning. And then she's happy. And while I'm getting my uniform on, she hops in the window and is looking outside. I have my coffee. 60 hours a week, roughly $10.30 an hour. I mean, my check might be $800. That doesn't cover my expenses at all. Your regular electrical bills and like water bill, and then that doesn't include, food on the table. It doesn't include that because you have car insurance to pay, you have a car payment to make, and then you have to worry about, well, am I setting enough back for my yearly property taxes? It's us two and her mother, but her mother gets disability. So in the end, actually, I mean, collectively together is the only reason we're able to make it. And we both work full time. This last year, I was on leave. Basically told him I can't work. That's not paid leave. That's just saying I've got to take care of my mom now. She had just got a diagnosis that previous year that she had liver cancer, and it was a really aggressive form, and that we needed to be with her as much as possible, take care of her, and I promised that I would. I wish that leave had been paid. I wish they would have given me, family paid leave. I mean, one of my mom's friends works for Catholic charities. When she found that my mom was homebound, this lady brought us food from their pantry. That's what sustained my mom and I through this last tough winter that we had here. And it was her last winter. At my store, there's no holidays off. In fact, I've had notices put up that your punishment could include termination for even requesting to have Thanksgiving, Christmas off. It is disrespectful, and I think every American should know that. I mean, you've seen Ebenezer Scrooge, right? Well, this one wears a suit, and he's the CEO of McDonald's.
That's Bill Thompson. I was lucky enough to have an extended conversation with him this past week, and here's what he had to say. What change would making $15 an hour and having a union, what change would that bring in your life?
It would be a dramatic change. It would be like night and day.
How so?
You know how the struggle is. It's always a constant struggle to figure out where am I going to get my next meal for my family, and also pay my electric bill or my gas bill.
So you're not talking about living the glam life. You're talking about just surviving, basic necessities.
Yeah.
Because folks don't realize that 15 is just being able to take care of the basic things.
I go to food pantries.
Me too, brother.
Are they giving out free stuff? Where?
Right.
Where can I get in line? Because the need is so great now that a lot of these pantries they're giving away like toothpaste and soap. And it's like, if those people get those donations mean something to us workers, why can't the politicians?
It's not just the folks that sign our paychecks, but people we vote into office too. That's what you're saying, right?
Oh yeah.
See, and we want 15 and a union. But I don't know what it's like growing up in a union household, but I know you do.
Uh, my dad was a member of the APWU, uh, Postal Workers Union, and I mean he worked for the post office for 32 years. Okay, number one, there in lies something right there. How many fast food workers do you know that have been working at the same job for 32 years? So right there, stability. Okay, if you treat your workers with respect and you pay them what they want, what they need to basically afford, like home, car, uh, they're gonna stay, right? They're gonna be a dedicated employee. It's gonna put something on your bottom line, right?
The word that stuck out to me, Bill, stability.
As a child, I didn't have to worry. Oh, am I gonna be hungry? No, it's what are we gonna have? My dad had weekends off. He only worked Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday was,
Family time.
yeah, family time. You had actually time, family. We would go to we went to the Royals games and things like that. I can't even afford to go to the Royals game, man.
Me either, brother. I can remember leaving home at 5 in the morning, working at Burger King from 6 to 4, and then getting off and going right to my other job at 4 o'clock to close, and not being able to see my family all day. And this was Monday through Friday, weekends included. So I can't believe someone working 5 days and then having a weekend to spend with their family, and how much that can not only help a family grow, but help a community grow. And that's not a luxury that me or you have in this current day and age. It's crazy. Bill,
It's like your wife. How often do you see your wife?
oh man, out of the week, maybe it's not a lot. I can't even calculate
A
it.
few hours in a day, right?
Right.
But
And
I
that
want
stuff impacts you mentally. It does.
absolutely.
Not
That
only
takes a
does it,
toll
it
on
not
you.
only does it have a wear and tear on your body, but on your soul.
My mind.
All that. We don't have our union yet, bro. We're fighting like hell for it. We're acting like a union before we become a union, and that's all good and gravy. But we really need a national agreement with not only McDonald's but with all these restaurants. We need a seat at the table, right?
Yeah, we need a seat at the table. Like the $15 thing is like, here's a loaf of bread. We can't survive on the crumbs. We need that loaf of bread.
Bill, I'm thinking about worker power. And when we talk about worker power, it sounds like from me to you, it's more than just having the strength and courage to get up and organize and tell your story and to fight for 15 in the union. But the power is in getting through these days, getting through these moments. And it is.
Yeah, it's people power.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what a union is. It's the workers coming together to do something that we couldn't accomplish on our own. We have to do it together. Well, in order to do that together, we have to be connected to each other.
Yeah. We've actually, here in Kansas City, nearly doubled our minimum wage before in the past. You remember we camped out on the steps of City Hall?
I remember when that happened. Yes.
And it wasn't on the steps of McDonald's, it was on the steps of City Hall, an institution where we put elected leaders who can make changes in our lives every day. We pitched our tents right on the steps of City Hall, and we stayed there for days on end. We had our tents. We not only did we camp out, we fasted as well. So we went without food. We had our kids in tents, and we had our signs. We decorated our tents, and we were there to send a strong message to elected leaders here in Kansas City that you can make change. Not only does McDonald's have that power, but you can make laws that are going to help us not only get to $15 an hour and above, but create an avenue for us to join unions. And I remember sitting in chambers when they had vote on the minimum wage increase here in Kansas City, and it was a landslide victory. We won like 12-1 on the vote, and nearly double the minimum wage here in Kansas City, only to see legislation being passed in our state capitol to take it away.
Took and reversed.
Yeah, a disappointing moment. But I don't get lost in that disappointment. I reflect on the power and the ability we had to bring that change, to nearly double the minimum wage here in Kansas City. And yes, it was a disappointment that the state legislature took it away. And again this year, Bill, we came so close to a $15 an hour federal minimum wage on the federal level,
Yeah.
only for that to be stripped away from the first COVID relief package. And the majority of Americans support $15 an hour, but for our elected leaders to not recognize that and to not honor that it's a travesty. That's
Yeah.
un-American.
It feels un-American to me. We even put it on the ballot, right?
Right?
And it was passed.
Wow.
So think about that for a minute. It was something that was a support across party.
Right.
There had to have been Republicans that voted for that. When I think about it, I mean, Missourians feel like we're not getting enough money now on our paycheck. It felt good that we have the support of the voters, but it feels like a stab in the back because the politicians don't, they don't care about our rights. They don't care about our lives. We've been all over our state. We've been to St. Louis. We march every time we have an opportunity in Kansas City. We've been in St. Louis. We've been in the state capital, Jefferson City.
You wrote a op-ed in our Kansas City Star?
Yeah.
The biggest newspaper here in Kansas City?
Yeah, the Kansas City Star ran my op-ed in 2018.
What came of that? What was it about?
I didn't have health care to take care of my teeth.
Right.
And, I had been with my wife for almost 20 years, and I'd never smiled for her.
Man.
And that does something to who you are. A dentist read it and donated his services. He said he saw my article and it made him feel a certain kind of way that he needed help, and I got my smile. And then after that, it just picked up and blew up from there. I got contacted by the president of the APWU, American Postal Workers Union, President Mark Diamondstein, and I went and spoke at their convention. So I got on a plane and I flew to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I went in front of all of their postal representatives and did a speech.
You told your story?
Yeah, I told my story. I was treated like a brother, because this fight is, with an injury to one is an injury to all. Right. We hear that in the movement a lot. I mean, just from being there, I saw how the union works. Because before I spoke, they had a lot of issues that they had to put on the table. They had their union meeting right there. And the workers were the ones that were driving the meeting, not the president of the union.
The workers.
The workers were in charge.
That's awesome, because not only do I see you as my brother, Bill, but when we look around the Fight for 15, I see Adriana is my sister. Ieisha is my sister. We see each other as family. When you're a part of a labor movement, part of something at work to create conditions and wages that are beneficial to the workers, you feel a part of something bigger than yourself. And I think that's a feeling that all of the working class should have. Well, Bill, it's always a pleasure talking about the Fight for 15, talking about change and victories with you, brother.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to what you got in store for the future and winning. I want to win, Bill. What about you?
I do too.
Well, let's get it done.
We're all in.
Thank you so much for sharing.
My day starts at 4 a.m. I'm up at 4 o'clock, get my little cup of coffee. I got to get my coffee, watch my news, play my games on my phone. Then about 5:30 or so, I get up, put my clothes on, and then out the door I go to the bus stop. Bus comes at about 7 to take me downtown. Get downtown almost 7:30. My next bus doesn't come until 8 o'clock. That's the bus to take me to work. So I get on that bus and I got a 30-minute ride to work. And thereof my day began. 8 hours on your feet. Pray for a break. I don't even look for one, especially not now with us being so short-staffed. 4:30 or 5 o'clock, I'm out of there. So I get in the door about 10 after 7. I take my shower, unwind a little bit, figure out what's for dinner, get that together, and then I'm off the bed. I worked at Freddy's 6 years ago, And then when I left there, I went back into my career of nursing. And then here came Corona. And I had a very hard decision to make, not only for the benefit and welfare of myself and my family. Also, I had a very huge financial decision to make because this is a tremendous pay cut. I'm talking going from bringing home checks, easy $1,100-$1,200 checks, to bringing home $600-$700 checks. But the decision was made based on my family. I have a family life that consists of my fiance, my grandson, an 89-year-old mother-in-law, several others, my 12-year-old son that I had to be accountable for. My grandson, that little boy is like the highlight of my life. He just melts me like butter. Spending time with him is so amazing. I get up Saturday morning and I get ready for the 2-year-old that's arriving. My day is totally planned by him. He say, "Gamma, outside," then we going outside. And we go outside and he runs around the yard and he takes his toys out there and I gotta run around the yard. Then he wants to take a nap. And I want to take a nap when he's napping. The funny thing is, I can't, because then click, oh, wait a minute, we got to get laundry done, figure out what we're going to eat for dinner, get some things straightened up until he wakes up and tear everything back up. But okay. I'll invite any of these people who oppose this $15 an hour so strongly, come live a full day in any of our lives, one full day. From the time we have to get up in the morning to the time we have to catch the bus, to the whole full work day, to getting off from work, to facing whatever we have to face and deal with at home. They have no idea of what it's like to just live sometimes paycheck to paycheck. They would be lost at catching the bus.
That's Ieisha Franceis. She and I sat down earlier this week and had an eye-opening discussion about life in America for low-wage workers. We'll pick up the conversation as we discuss the first time she and her coworkers planned a walkout over unsafe work conditions.
I know when I first struck, a lot of things changed at my store. So did your strike at Freddy's, did it get you guys any changes?
Yeah, it did. Amazingly enough, little old me calling these people that are in Kansas. I'm talking to Bridget, who is the head of human resources. I'm nervous as crap, but I gotta let her know what's going on. However, I did not know that one phone call was going to bring these people. I'm talking about, Adriana, I'm talking about the franchisee himself came. I'm talking about the CEO came. I'm talking about everybody from Kansas that came to see about us. We were having several breakouts of Corona at the store. And here I am. Like I said, I made a boss decision to leave nursing to go back into fast food to lessen my risk. Remember that, right?
Right.
However, we're having all kind of breakouts. Then it's getting to the point where nobody's telling us things. That's when I had it. Somebody needs to know. These poor people all the way in Kansas have no idea what's going on with their business because we were mismanaged. For lack of better words, we were mismanaged. However, when they came, they knew that they could not come and stand before us and say, work with us, give us a minute. So what they came with was a true coronavirus package, which meant that because if you feel sick, get sick, stay home, that's not a policy. That's normal.
Right.
If you think you've come in contact with somebody, go get tested. That's not a policy. That's normal. They implemented a policy that if we needed to get tested, they're paying for it. If we needed to quarantine, we're getting paid quarantine. They came with a full package. because they knew they could not. Because we walked out of there and they lost that money for that entire day because we walked out 12 o'clock noon.
Busy time.
Cars in the driveway, people in the lobby, food on the grill, food on the make table, fries in the grease, and we walked clean up out of there. And there was nobody there but the general manager. What did he do but cut them lights off? There was nothing to do. And that's when you know you got it. But yeah, it's a real sense of empowerment.
Just to hear you say what you won, I want to applaud you because that's huge.
Yeah.
So what motivates you to, organize and fight for 15 and a union?
There are so many different things that motivate me. Mainly my family, my son, my daughter. I have grandchildren. My 2-year-old grandson who is like basically attached to my hip. I have 2 twin grandbabies on the way, which is going to make 12 grandkids.
Wow.
Yeah. So outside of family, though, my main motivation is to my fellow workers. There's a world full of people who need their voices heard, who need somebody to step up and step out for them and maybe give them the courage to step up and step out for themselves as well. And eventually somebody's going to lay down because somebody's going to get tired because I'm not getting tired. You get tired before I will. You understand? I'm going to fight this thing. You hear me? To the death, I'm going to fight this thing. I could hit the lottery right now, even though I don't play. But I could hit it right now, and I'm still in this fight.
I definitely see where you're coming from. So, I remember the first time that I went on strike, and, it felt very powerful. I want to know, how did you feel when you walked out of your store for the first time?
I think we share that same feeling, Adriana. I do. Let's be honest. It's a sense of empowerment that never leaves you. I'm sure that when you did it, you were nervous. So was I. I had coworkers that were nervous. But at some point, like just before it really happened, I just really got this I don't give a crap feeling. Let's go. When it was go time, right?
Definitely.
It was go time, right? It's a feeling that does not leave you because then you really have an answer that you never had before. It was like, okay, now I really see who runs this business. They don't. We do.
It's funny, your situation is basically the same as ours. Illinois was also 725, I believe, not too long ago. In 2019, it passed to 15 an hour. I feel that the way that we got our legislators to listen and everybody to, actually vote for the 15 was we kept pushing. We showed up at the Capitol. We would go to Springfield however many times it took. We would stay however long it took. We would show up to, their meetings, their town halls. We would do whatever, whenever. And I feel that, if we keep pushing, if you guys keep pushing, you guys would get the 15 as well.
I share that same emotion. Like, we have to keep showing up and the numbers have to keep growing. We have to keep bringing more people in. There's power in numbers. We know that. So we have to keep showing up. And like you said, showing up to wherever, whenever. When they're having their meetings or whatever, I don't mind interrupting their meetings. I don't. Because it's really not important to me. So, making phone calls, writing letters, whatever it takes, and I feel like the physical being there is so powerful because then they have to look us in our faces and they have to see what this really looks like. Even if it's just a few hours or whatever it is that we're out, they have to erase whatever image they have in their heads because we're right there in their faces. Right. And they see exactly what this looks like. They hear exactly what this sounds like. They hear the frustration. They hear the anger. They hear the upset. They see the emotion. So yeah, continuing to fight this fight and continuing to show up and show out and speak up and speak out, and continue to try and make our peers more aware of what's going on and make them aware that they don't have to just settle. And there's a war going on, and we need them. We need them to fight this war with us.
What do you wish, that more people understood about working in fast food? Because I know a lot of people, they don't fully understand. So what do you wish people knew?
First of all, what they don't know is we are some of the most hardest working people. They don't know what we go throughout our day. They think that we're just there putting food in bags or something, like that's all that our job consists of. And, you know what I mean? A blind dog could do our job. The ignorance of it is so ridiculous. It makes me sick. You never know why somebody is where they are. Excuse me. I have a whole marketing management degree as well as being a CNA. There is nothing dumb about me. And then you have older people who are in these jobs, in fast food jobs, because the money that they get for Social Security is not enough. So they're there because they need some extra money to make ends meet to be able to get through to the next month. They say that fast food jobs are for teenagers and college students. So not true.
I definitely understand where you're coming from. One thing that this fight has taught me is to not judge anybody, because you have no idea where they've been, what got them to where they're at right now. You just don't know. And we're out here working. We're not, at home talking about we need 15 in a union. We're out there busting our butts for these corporations.
And they have no idea.
All right, Ieisha. Well, I'm glad to have you on my side. And I hope all goes well with your state raising the minimum wage to the much deserved 15 an hour. And we're going to keep pushing for this union. And it has just been an honor speaking to you today. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Congratulations on your victory in your state. That is amazing. We're going to get there. Every time that I touch base with or do an interview or anything with any of my Fight for 15 family, because we are a family. So it's always good to talk to family and just know that we're all on the same team and we got each other's back.
Thank you for joining us today for episode 2 of Worker Power. And be on the lookout for episode 3, where we discuss how to hold McDonald's accountable for on-the-job sexual harassment.
You can find the Worker Power podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and wherever else you go to find podcasts.